having a policy that renews every 6 months gives them an opportunity to change the verbiage in the policy. It gives them 2 opportunities throughout the year to raise your rates.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Airing of Grievances. I'm Eric Reamer. That's Robert Grieve. And as always, it's a privilege having you here with us today. We know that you take time out of your day to join us for ours. It means the world to us, and we hope that this is worthwhile time for you. Rob, happy Saturday, man.
Happy Saturday. My dear friends, and those turning in for the first time, thank you. Thank you very, very much. So grateful.
Absolutely. Rob, last week we talked about you and your insurance broker. I believe the headline was, you fired your insurance broker.
I did.
And we learned why and all of that. And we focused a lot on the home policy that you have, and the crazy increase in both rates and deductibles.
Yeah.
Right? See, if you haven't seen that one, folks, I'll put a link to it up here. It's also in the description box below. Go check it out. Or any of the videos in our Airing of Grievances playlist. There are over 220 of them. So this week I thought, let's address a couple of questions that came out of that conversation. All right? And I'm going to try to focus it more towards the automotive policy, but important nonetheless for all of us.
Yeah, it's your policy regardless, whether it's a homeowner's, car, doesn't matter.
Yeah. So one of the things that I mentioned to you early on was that my wife, Kathleen, she purchases her insurance a year in advance. She pays the whole lump sum up front. I think she gets some kind of a small discount for that. And it's a 1-year annual policy. It renews once a year.
Yep. Perfect.
I know that there are other people who purchase, and I might be one of them, who purchase their insurance 6 months at a time.
Yeah.
And it renews every 6 months.
Right, and that's not necessarily your choice. That's the insurance company saying we offer a policy for autos, but it's every 6 months.
Right. You have an opinion.
I do.
Imagine.
I do. So interestingly enough, I was talking to my sister this week, and she's got a homeowner. She's got actually several homes. And an auto policy, both with the same carrier.
Okay.
Her homeowner's is annual. Her auto policy is biannual.
Okay.
And I'm like, whew.
Why? I mean, what's the big deal? They just split it in half and you just pay it, right?
Something like that. Not really. So here's the thing. When you're shopping for insurance, try to find something that is at least a year.
Okay.
All right? You're not going to get it more than a year, but you want a 12-month policy.
Over a 6-month policy.
Over a 6-month policy. Because there's 3 things I want to focus on the 6-month policy.
Okay.
Number 1, it gives them 2 opportunities throughout the year to raise your rates. So, when insurers want to raise rates, they have to, in Colorado here anyway, they have to go to the Department of Insurance and state their case and give them lots of statistics and all the rest of this in order for the department to say, okay, you can raise your rates. That can take a long time to happen.
Okay.
And once it does happen, you might have just renewed and you have a year-long policy. They can't impose those rates on you until the following year. If you have a 6-month policy, that brings it 6 months closer to them being able to raise rates.
Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah. Also, during that 6-month policy, what if you get a ticket? or you have an accident or something. When that 6 month comes around, they'll have an opportunity to know that sooner than looking at the thing at a 12-month basis.
Sure.
So you may still have the problem at the 12-month time frame, but at least you've got some more time.
I understand.
So that's the number one thing.
Okay.
The second thing is having a policy that renews every 6 months gives them an opportunity to change the verbiage in the policy. So I have a notice of policy conditional renewal here, and you'll see that there is this and this
Yeah.
and this and this and this
Wow.
that have all changed, and it's all verbiage inside the policy. Rarely is it to your benefit.
I think that is the understatement of the year.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just clarifying. Sometimes it's, regardless, it gives them an opportunity twice a year to change the policy language, which could be constricting.
I like to say that the good hands still belong to them.
Yeah.
Right? And your good neighbor is looking out for himself.
Yeah. Yeah. And so the other big issue with a 6 month policy instead of a 12-month policy is it gives them twice a year to non-renew you.
Wait, what?
So, yeah, they can just say, okay, we're not going to renew you. And there could be, several of valid, reasons why, or maybe it's just driving behavior or an accident or tickets or whatever, but they can choose not to renew you. And this gives them two opportunities to do that in a year instead of one opportunity.
I feign surprise at this because this is actually something we eat, sleep, drink, and talk about all the time here. But the idea of insurers not renewing you, or maybe the other side of that coin is insurers just pulling out of your service area.
Yeah, they may be pulling out of the market. They may not. They may be pulling out of the state.
Yeah.
And not writing a specific risk anymore.
Right.
So in my particular case, I live on 10 acres.
Yes.
It's not wooded, but it's still 10 acres.
Okay.
So the good news to me is, yes, they conditionally renewed me, but if there was a bunch of trees on the property, I might be looking at a non-renewal
because of fire risk.
Because of fire risk. And, God forbid you have hailstorms back to back. And now they may want to, because you're too much of an exposure.
Yeah, my family in Florida knows all about the hurricanes.
Yeah.
All right. It's part of life there, and a lot of the insurers have pulled out because of that, because the risk is too high.
Yeah.
To justify their staying in there. I find it ironic, Rob, that many times they'll pull out because you get into an accident, or I'll use the different word, they'll non-renew. You get into an accident, you get into a situation where maybe you get in a couple of tickets, maybe you plugged in one of those, what are those?
Use-based insurance, and it's a dongle that goes in.
Yeah, watch out for your dongle. You need to know where it goes and why.
Yeah, and that's another thing. If you're using a use-based insurance product, they're tracking your use and your driving habits.
Right.
Which includes speeding and hard braking and hard turning.
They know all that.
Or you drive wonderfully, and you get a little tiny bit of a discount because of that. Or maybe you get renewed when somebody else doesn't.
Right.
And some of these things are based on something that you actually put in the car, so it's tracking the car.
Right.
Some of them are in the apps that you put on your phone.
Yep.
and now your phone is tracking the behavior.
Yeah.
But
It's got an accelerometer in it.
Yeah, it's got all sorts of stuff. It knows what's going on.
Yeah.
And it's also got a GPS in there, so it knows what the speed limits are in the areas that you're driving, all the rest of that stuff. So, I don't ever recommend that. I don't believe the savings is worth the exposure. And you're going to say, well, I don't have anything to worry about. I drive just fine. That's perfect. What if you're not driving the car?
Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
What if somebody else is driving the car?
I was just going to say, I think it's ironic, though, that, you pay all your life your premiums, and of course I'm assuming that you do, and you pay on time and you get all that money over there, and then you get into an accident or you have the need for filing a claim, and you file the claim, and all of a sudden your insurance rates go up, or, God forbid, you are discontinued.
Yep.
And
non-renewed.
If that is the case, I find irony in that, because it's your money that they paid. Does that make sense?
Well, it's like going to the casino and betting on something. You're betting a small amount, hoping to win a big amount. You're paying a small amount for the insurance, larger and larger every day,
every year.
But if you have a catastrophic loss, it's a small amount compared to what they're going to land up paying, and it's a speculative risk.
It certainly could be. It matters more in the homeowner's side of things than it perhaps does, although some of the rigs that I see out on the road today are way more than the cost of my first house.
So here's the thing about the non-renewal, though.
Yeah.
If there's a reason other than they're pulling out, and even if they're pulling out of the market, that's still a very, very important reason.
Yeah.
And you haven't secured other insurance first, like shopped, and said, you know what, I'm going to cancel this policy and go with this carrier.
Right.
Prior to them non-renewing you, you're going to pay a whole lot more trying to get insurance coverage.
Because you're uninsured.
Because, well, they give you time.
Okay.
They're not going to renew you. You're going to have probably, I don't know, a few months. Well, there's laws around that too.
This is kind of what I'm facing right now, because my insurance company is being disappeared. I mean, it's going away. It's being absorbed by its parent company.
Which is why it's important to have a broker.
Yes.
That's gonna shop and understand what your specific needs are, and advocate for you in getting you another policy.
Right.
But if you think that you're going to get canceled, you'd be better off trying to cancel them, get another policy and cancel them before they cancel you. Because if you get non-renewed or canceled, those are two different things.
That's a stamp of.
It's going to be problematic for obtaining additional coverage. And you take the fire risk situation. For homeowners, if an insurer pulls out and now there's less insurers covering that kind of a risk, they're going to be charging more for it.
That's true.
So those are, just to continue on the conversation that we were having last week.
Yeah.
And you were shopping, and I'm like, well, pay attention to this and pay attention to this, pay attention to this.
Right. Again,
if they don't offer an OEM original equipment parts rider, again, that's a indication to me that maybe it's probably not where I would go.
Okay, so one last question for you as we kind of wrap this thing up. We have had conversations about certain life changes that would merit a conversation with your broker about a different way of purchasing insurance and or managing your accounts. I'll give you an example, and I mentioned this in the last video. Again, you can see that in the link in the text box below. I'm newly married, and
congratulations again.
Thank you. And my wife has her policy for her F-250. She's a horse trainer and has got a beautiful rig, and it is far more valuable than mine. I have my own policy for a Dodge Charger, right? And I love our vehicles. We both love our vehicles, but we have separate policies. And I think you were among them that said, hey, you should be paying one policy.
Yes.
Give the thought behind that, please.
Well, if you look at your auto policy,
Yeah.
you're going to see several lines with dollar amounts next to them. The first one is going to be liability.
Yes.
And that's that's an important one. It's usually the most expensive part of it, depending on what levels you choose.
Sure.
But if you're having it and your spouse is having it, you're kind of paying double that. And if you combine the two of you into one policy,
Yep.
that number should shrink separately rather than having separate policies.
It really does make a lot of sense.
It's like filing together,
right.
for tax reasons.
We should talk about that too. That's another video. I think that makes a lot of sense. And for me, it even makes even more sense because then you get multiple vehicle discounts and things like that go under one single policy. So lots there. Rob, thank you for your wisdom in this. We are not insurance brokers. We are not lawyers.
Not selling anything.
Nope.
not just giving you life experiences.
That's right. Take what you hear here and cross-reference it against somebody with authority.
Yep.
All right. Rob, happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday to you. My dear friends, thanks for tuning in and staying with us. We appreciate you so very much. I hope you have an amazing week, and we'll see you next Saturday. God bless.